it's always been home.
That's right.
Even if just a visitor, like you automatically just feel welcomed, and like that's how we want to treat everybody.
Pikeville's wonderful. We've got so many tourism things to do. We have lots of people, lots of street activities to do, lots of restaurants to eat at. It's a great place.
And it's a small community that we like to take care of each other, especially anybody that needs help. Somebody knows how to find them help.
This time out, I've come to the small town of Pikeville, Kentucky. I'm spending several days here with family and friends. Over the years, I've passed through the town and always wanted to spend a bit of time here. The town is small, and this central area is very walkable. Over the next few minutes, I'll show you all of the things I've found to see and do here. Let's get started. At one point, the New York Times reportedly referred to this as the eighth wonder of the world. It is called the Pikeville Cut-Through Project. This ranks as the second largest earth-moving endeavor ever in the Western Hemisphere, behind only the construction of the Panama Canal. Peach Orchard Mountain once rose in this spot, but 18 million cubic yards of dirt and rock were taken away, and the mountain no longer existed. The Lavisa Fork of the Big Sandy River posed a constant flood threat for the city of Pikeville. The project solved that problem, as well as addressing issues of congestion and pollution. The Lavisa Fork of the river was relocated, and highways and railroads were rerouted. Begun in 1973 and completed in 1987, the 14 years of work opened this passage that is 3/4 of a mile long and 1,300 feet wide. The cut was 523 feet deep. It was accomplished in what at the time was a cost of $80 million. It's astonishing that such a large undertaking was carried out to benefit a small mountain town. The best way to understand the scope of the project is to come here to the Cut-Through Project Overlook. The Overlook is situated in Bob Amos Park. This park covers a lot of ground on top of a mountain just outside of downtown. There are all sorts of recreational amenities, but for me, the best part were the trails located here. Miles of hiking is possible, both on paved trails and over more natural surfaces. This is the real McCoy Trail. I didn't have time to complete the entire thing, but it forms a 4.7-mile loop. There is roughly 850 feet of elevation change. Those aren't the most daunting numbers I've ever seen, but the trail is considered to be quite strenuous. The difficulty aside, even getting out on the path for a short distance ensures that you will find plenty of natural beauty. A much easier journey can be found in Bob Amos Park. This story trail is paved and extends for just 1/4 of a mile. It's designed for kids to find interest in the outdoors by providing boards that progressively tell a story as they walk the path. When I stopped by and tackled the short out and back, the story was about a cartoon character named Pete the Cat. There is another green oasis in the center of downtown. This is Pikeville City Park. It is a small but pleasant space, which features a playground, a gazebo, and lots of areas for passive enjoyment. Shade is present, both from large trees which grow throughout the park and on a walkway, portions of which are covered. Just about every time I passed, there were at least several people taking advantage of having this site steps away from shops and businesses. Before the Cut-Through Project, the Lavisa Fork basically formed a loop around Pikeville. All that earth moving rerouted the channel to bypass the city. The water and the town can now coexist in a peaceful manner. Being named the Lavisa Fork might cause you to think that this is just a minor tributary. In reality, this branch of the Big Sandy River flows for 164 miles from southwestern Virginia through the southeastern portion of Kentucky. I did not see much activity on the waterway while I was in the area. I thought I might actually be able to get out on the water for a moment, but that plan was unfulfilled. There is a business called Pikeville Pond and Paddle not far from downtown. Paddle boats can be rented for a recreational opportunity. When I arrived at the site on a Sunday, however, the boats were out of the water and no one else was around. I would think that the venture was not closed for the season, as the boats had not been taken to be stored somewhere for the winter. I was relegated to simply viewing the pond from the shore. In a couple of other spots, I was able to get out over the water. This is the Pauley Bridge. It is quite an interesting structure. Originally built in 1936 by the Works Progress Administration, or WPA, it extends for around 390 feet over the Levisa Fork. It is a wire suspension bridge with a wood surface. On each end, tall sandstone towers stand as supports. Today, it is just for pedestrian and bike traffic. As late as 2000, though, vehicles crossed the span to go from one side to the other. It was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in the early 1990s. There is at least one other suspension bridge designed for foot traffic in Pikeville. I couldn't find if this structure even has a name. It is basically a functional bridge to allow pedestrians to cross back and forth between a neighborhood and one of the main highways near the city. The support towers here are made of concrete, and again, the surface is wood. This takes you over the pond, which was left behind after the Levisa Fork was relocated. Both this span and the Pauley Bridge will sway and move a bit as you pass over. If that kind of thing is bothersome, you might want to avoid them. This place is not actually in the city, but it is worth the drive. Breaks Interstate Park lies 26 miles southeast of Pikeville and is shared between Kentucky and Virginia. I shared the experience of visiting with my niece Heather and her husband Jeff, plus my friends Gary and Jill. We didn't do anything too strenuous, but we did get out on the trails for a bit. Our main path took us over the Ridge Trail, then onto the Laurel Branch Trail, and finally the Geological Trail. It was a short walk, but it took us through some spectacular scenery.
Some people call this the Grand Canyon of the East. I wouldn't exactly go that far, but for this part of the country, it's absolutely incredible.
The feature formed as the Russell Fork of the Big Sandy River cut through the land is the largest canyon east of the Mississippi River. This gorge is 5 miles long and over 1,000 feet deep. There is a trail system with every level of challenge from easy to extreme. In addition to our little loop, we hit the state line overlooking trail, getting exceptional views of the canyon below. We even saw a slow-moving train inching its way through the cut on the old Clinchfield Railroad, far in the distance. It was a super excursion from the city. This part of Appalachia was the scene of America's most famous feud between the Hatfields and McCoys. Some of that history can be found in the Big Sandy Heritage Center Museum. There's also a driving tour of various sites which begins in Pikeville. The Hatfields and McCoys feud began with Civil War allegiances and lasted for 28 years until 1891. Well over a dozen members of the two families lost their lives. There was forbidden romance between a Hatfield and two McCoys, and the governors of West Virginia and Kentucky got involved at one point. The McCoys lived on the Kentucky side, and the patriarch of the family and his wife are buried in Pikeville. Others from the McCoy clan were laid to rest in the cemetery as well. There are even some Hatfields here. The feud has inspired numerous books, movies, and even dinner theater shows through the years. In the Big Sandy Museum, a lot more history about this region can be found. On the 4th floor of the Judicial Annex, there are various rooms dedicated to all sorts of topics. That includes everything from coal mining, to musicians from the area, to moonshining. It's Appalachia in every corner. This is a college town. The University of Pikeville is situated right in downtown. Its main buildings are located on 25 acres on a high hill. This is a private institution founded by the Presbyterian Church in 1889. Just over 2,500 students are enrolled, with a high percentage of them in postgraduate studies. The College of Osteopathic Medicine here gives the university one of the 3 medical schools in the state. It also makes UPike one of the smallest colleges in the country to have a medical school. The mascot of the university is the bear. throughout the city are bear statues. They are part of the 10 Bears of Pikeville campaign. Each represents part of the university or an aspect of the culture here. They were each designed and painted by local artists. You'll run into them as you make your way through downtown and around campus. It was always a treat when I discovered a new one. The Appalachian Wireless Arena is the major place in the region for shows, concerts, and sporting events. There is usually a full schedule each season. It has been open since 2005 and can seat up to 7,000 people for concerts. The arena has brought some pretty big names in the entertainment industry to Eastern Kentucky. Right in the middle of downtown is the Appalachian Center for the Arts. They call this the App. Entertainment here ranges from music to theater to visual arts. From looking at the schedule, there is always something on stage here or coming up really soon. This is the most attractive public space you will find in Pikeville and probably for many miles in every direction. It's Umbrella Alley and is located directly across the street from the App. This was just a normal, bland space between two buildings until 2020. The addition of the vibrant umbrellas created a spot that everyone visiting the city needs to see. Those colors backlit by the sun make for a stunning scene. To add to the appeal, some artwork from local residents has been added to the brick walls as well. Don't miss this. The Pikeville Farmers Market is in the process of growing. Open Tuesday evenings and Saturdays from 9 until 1, this is a place where growers and craftspeople can bring their best and meet directly with potential buyers.
It can be a lot of fun. We get to talk to a lot of people, and we enjoy talking to different people.
On the Saturday that I stopped in, the market was just coming to life with 15 to 20 vendors. Expectations are that as time passes, there will be more customers and more people selling what they produce.
I want the farmers market on Saturday mornings to be like your Saturday morning destination. Get up, come to the farmers market, and then start your weekend.
Right now, the market is open from May through November. I found my coffee fix downtown at the Faith Life Market. On this occasion, I grabbed the largest drip coffee I could secure, doctored it up with sweetener and creamer, then headed out onto the sidewalk, which was already warming under the August sun.
This is technically the JB Coffee House inside the Faith Life Market. They have a few tables out here on the sidewalk, but it's not that attractive. Inside is where the good seating is, and as soon as I finish up here, that's where I'm headed. I took a couple more sips here, then scurried back into the comfort of air conditioning. The building offers a handful of different areas in which to perch and enjoy what you bought to eat or drink. I traveled just a bit out of town on the recommendation of some locals to Heavenly Donuts. There, I found several flavors that looked quite appealing. By the time I arrived, however, many of the most popular kinds had already disappeared. This is one of those places that you need to get to early in the day. The owner says he gets here at 11:30 p.m. and starts frying donuts at 3:30 a.m. He sells out, he's going to close the doors, and he sells out often. This is incredible. It is a cheesecake donut with blueberry icing. It is unbelievable. I don't do donuts very often, but I was very happy to partake in this instance. If you've ever been to this shop, let me know what your favorites are. Also a short drive away from downtown is the Happy Days Diner. I'm fanatical about places such as this. It's the kind of eatery that once was prevalent across the American landscape in the 60s and 70s. I ordered the Happy Days Special Burger. It is dressed up with chili, coleslaw, onions, and pickles. I would have to say that I chose wisely.
In a retro diner like this, you won't go wrong ordering the burger. They've made a few of them. Another plus is that, like here, the staff typically makes you feel welcome, just as if you were a regular. There's a new distillery operating in Pikeville where they are aging their spirits in a rehabilitated coal mine. That is quite a novelty, but the storefront was not open when I visited. Dueling Barrels Distillery and Brewery did get my business.
This is a great and attractive space with something for just about anybody who likes a drink every once in a while.
The way things work here is pretty cool. You pay one price and get 4 tokens like this. Then you trade these in for either a beer of this size or a shot of bourbon or some other spirit. It's a really cool concept.
For me, I'll choose beer over liquor every time. Megan, who worked the area behind the bar, ran through what she had on tap, and I was sold as soon as she described the old-fashioned.
It's like the opposite of an old-fashioned, so you get the cherry and orange peel on the front and the bourbon on the back.
Cost of the 4 tokens was just a little more than $6, which is amazing value. Plus, at the end, Megan made the house specialty directly in front of us. It's called a Bluegrass Sundown.
It's made with our 4-year bourbon, Haitian coffee, Madagascar vanilla, and pure cane sugar.
That sounded great and looked enticing as it was constructed.
So here it is, the Bluegrass Sundown. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
A perfect way to end the visit. I don't know if it was the weekend that we chose to visit or if it's normal, but downtown Pikeville was extremely quiet on Sunday. Hardly any of the businesses in this district were open.
I truly believe that this could be one of the best towns in all of Appalachia. Let me know what you think and give me your opinion on one of the best towns in the region. I have enjoyed my time back in the States, and now I'm set to hit the road again. This time the destination is Europe. I'll make a quick stop in Dublin, Ireland, then it's on to Bucharest, Romania for several weeks. Other places I'll visit during this trip include Italy, Turkey, and Spain. I hope you join me for all of that here on Old, Alone, and Far From Home.